From hotspots and hidden gems to lots of local flavor, it's your guide to LA the unscripted way. And tonight we're hitting up all of LA's oldest businesses. And tonight we start with the Tam O'Shanter. And welcome to LA Unscripted. I'm Dana Devin, and it's all about the old school ways tonight as we explore some of the oldest businesses in SoCal. Case in point, the Tam O'Shanter. This Scottish pub in Atwater Village opened in 1922 and is a real gem, or as one reviewer said, the best place to eat prime rib and feel like you're on Game of Thrones. Perfect.
I've got some guests who have been coming here since they were 1 or 2 years old, and if you can imagine, we're 100 years old, they're 98, 99, and still coming to the restaurant. It's really an amazing thing to see. Tam O'Shanter is a restaurant that started here in Atwater Village in 1922. We were selling hamburgers and potato chips at the time. Walt Disney's studio was right around the corner from here on Hyperion, and he used to be a regular here. So in the 30s, he became good friends with our partners, and he said, hey, you know, if you guys are expanding, what's your theme gonna be? Because theme restaurants were starting to come into rage. The owners had fallen in love with the Scottish countryside. So Walt Disney actually hooked us up with Harry Oliver, who was a famous set designer at the time. And then he brought in his Hollywood set crews to actually build it, and that's exactly how we became this Scottish country manor here in Los Feliz. So that's the main dining room, or the great dining room with the flags. We have our Royal Guards room, which is covered with swords and armaments. And then we have, of course, our tartan room, which has all the clan's tartans on the wall. So Tam O'Shanter is actually a poem by the famous Scottish poet, the patron saint of Scottish poetry, Robbie Burns. So he wrote this poem about basically a drunken knight's ride. There's a gentleman on a horse, and then all of a sudden there's lightning bolts and all sorts of things as he's running through town on this ride.
So the menu is to run in line with the history. You know, we have some very classics on there like fish and chips. We have a twist on a toad in the hole, which is a very classic kind of Scottish, British cooking.
So this is the toad in the hole, and traditionally it's made with sausage inside, but they actually kind of did an elevated version of it, and they put filet mignon in it, and it's so good. Such a classic European meal, and so delicious, but kind of Americanized, and it's so yummy.
We were founded by Lawrence Frank and Walter Vandekamp, the two brother-in-laws, and in 1922 when they founded this restaurant, Lawrence always had a dream to have a restaurant that served the great American supper, and that was a one-dish restaurant, which was prime rib.
I've had this every Christmas for probably the last 10 years, and every time I see this, it's like when you hear the first Christmas carol of the year, and you get like nostalgic and excited. That's how I feel when I see this prime rib here.
So in 1937, they were coming up with a concept for Lawry's the Prime Rib. And at the time, they needed that seasoning salt that we're famous for. So that seasoning salt was actually mixed here in 1937 in our garage. And in 1938, they ended up opening that one-dish restaurant, Lawry's the Prime Rib.
The Tam O'Shanter come every Christmas. This is amazing. Oh my God, I love my job so much.
The holiday season here is really our most famous seasons. We take about a week to have the whole restaurant decorated, and then starting December 1st, the Dickens Strolling Carolers come into the restaurant, and every night they sing to different tables and they sing all sorts of Christmas carols. We're a 7-day-a-week restaurant, open for lunch and dinner. We have an amazing whiskey collection with over 700 whiskeys available. As well as we have live music in our pub and also outdoor dining. So we're celebrating 100 years in business this year, which is quite a feat for any restaurant. It's been really interesting to watch our 100-year celebration evolve and watch all the guests come back in with all of those memories that they've had for some of them almost 100 years with us.
Honestly, you guys, this place is legit. You have to come, especially at Christmas. All right, now let's fast forward to 1969 and a clothing store that's always been in the family. Jasmine Simpkins has the fierce female behind CJ's Elegance.
CJ's Elegance is the oldest Black-owned brick and mortar in historic View Park, Windsor Hills, and I'm gonna go inside and do a little shopping.
CJ's Elegance is going on its 54 years of successful business. My Aunt Carol Jo Shaw and her mother, Orlean Dubuclet, started the business in their family home here in historic Windsor Hills View Park. For her, it's legacy. For me, it's a privilege to be here, to be a part of this tradition and to continue the legacy. CJ2 with Love is the second generation of CJ's Elegance. CJ's Elegance is a women's boutique and it caters to an older, sophisticated woman, but CJ2 is targeted specifically to a younger demographic or the young at heart. We're an open store, so you just transition both sides, and women shop both sides all the time. CJ2 is definitely colorful, it's bright and exciting merchandise. It's body conscious, so we want all of our ladies to feel feminine and sexy at the same time, but elegant at the same time. We love this piece here, this floral piece. It's bohemian, it's flowy.
I love it.
Yeah, it's romantic too at the same time. So you can pop it on with a great little white sneaker or even a fun boot too. And then over here we have some great two-piece sets that I think would look fabulous on you. The shorts with the snakeskin print.
Love it.
And then of course we have to try this delicious, decadent chocolate dress with all of this beautiful ruching.
Now we pop over to one of the oldest suburbs in LA, Highland Park, and the only place to get a soda pop from 50 years ago. Olivia De Bortoli goes back in time to Galco's.
What's something that's fabulously 50s but we rarely see anymore? Soda pop shops. Well, there's one right here in Highland Park, and I'm gonna try every single flavor.
My father moved the business up here in 1955. About 20 years ago, all of the distribution channels for the little markets were bought up by the chain stores. They closed them down, and when they reopened them, the prices were like $10, $15 a case more expensive. And there was no way that a little store could compete. I sat there and I said, well, we're gonna have to make a change. Primarily what I was looking for when we originally started was old-time sodas that weren't on the shelf anymore.
Should we try some sodas?
Sure. So when you taste this, you're tasting the original thing. Like Shirley Temple never copyrighted her name so anybody could use it. But this is the one.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
the real one.
See, everyone knows Shirley Temple, and this is the original
This is the
Shirley
original
Temple, you guys.
formula.
That's so cool.
And we began to find a lot of different brands that were still out there and still available. And that's what we were looking for. We have everything you can't find.
Oh, look. It's me. Where's my Popeye? Oh.
Trust me, old is not a bad word on this show tonight when we come back, the oldest tiki bar in town. Classics, vintage, favorites, all just fancier words to describe the amazing local businesses that have been around for decades. Welcome back to LA Unscripted, everyone. I'm Dana Devin from the beloved Tam O'Shanter in Atwater, a tried and true spot that I absolutely love. And would you believe they are celebrating 100 years? I'll drink to that.
Dana, I have for you the Royal Archer.
Wow, and this is the glass they get to keep?
That's the glass they get to keep.
Oh, and it says 100, and I love this. It even comes on the 100 coaster.
It's our 100-year-old cocktail. So the whiskey is actually our, if you read there on there, it's bottled for the Tam O'Shanter. So black lung oil, we make it here in-house. Macadamia vanilla bitters, yeah, so we make our own bitters in-house here too as well. So we're 100 years old, guess what? We've only got 100 of those cocktails to sell.
100 right here. Cheers to a century of goodness. And here's more old school SoCal for you. This next place has been open since 1958. And with drinks like the Tongan Swizzle, the Painkiller, and Voodoo Juice, It's not surprising people keep pouring in.
Grab your tiny umbrellas. We're getting ready to do some tasting inside of LA's oldest tiki lounge, Tonga Hut. Cheers.
Tonga Hut is the oldest surviving tiki bar in Los Angeles. We were opened in 1958 by two brothers. So 1958, the two brothers built it. The layout is 90% as it was then. The color is just darkened a little from decades of smoking in here, but they're all original. The ceiling, the soffits, even the tiki's, Big Mo was carved in 1958. We have about 20, 25 drinks on our menu. Most of them are rum, but we do have vodka and whiskey and tequila and gin and everything. Our traditional cocktails here that people like are the Virago, which I've named after an undisciplined, contemptuous woman. We have our classic house rum barrel. We always serve the 1944 style Mai Tai and Don Beach's 1933 Zombie. I am the beverage director, so I've created the menu.
Marie, I love the way you make a drink. I already can tell this is gonna be yummy.
We're gonna make as close to the 1944 Mai Tai as we can. We're using rum from Jamaica and a rum from Martinique to give it the correct flavor profile. And we add a little simple syrup for body, some homemade almond syrup, which we call orgeat, a little orange curacao, and a lot of lime juice, because that is technically the only juice that you use in a Mai Tai. Again, we're gonna shake this up for you. Get a beautiful glass here.
Oh my goodness.
Some mint to wake up that palate.
Now that's a Mai Tai, people. Oh, this is not a drill. I might drink it all.
The second drink we're gonna have today is our house rum barrel. I'm using a aged rum from Guyana at 86 proof. So this is a big 20-ounce drink.
I only do 96 proof.
We have that, and then we have a lovely rum from Barbados, the real McCoy. And then after that, we have all of our fresh juices as well. And this is our house rum barrel.
One of the things, when I was doing my research, that tiki bars really became a home for returning war veterans.
It was the first time for decades that people had disposable income. You know, in the 50s, people were making money. They can afford that car, they could afford the house. They may not have been able to afford to take the family to Hawaii for a vacation, but you could always take wife out for a date to a tiki bar and she could feel like she's in Hawaii. 100% it's about escapism. Recession, waves, politics, everybody's looking for escapism. Everybody's looking for a little bit of paradise. You know, you can't go to Hawaii, you can't go to the South Pacific, you can't go to the Caribbean, we'll bring it to you.
And we'll be back with toys and tats. Not at the same place though. Two very cool and very old places up next. Welcome back to LA Unscripted, everyone. I'm Dana Devin from the Tam O'Shanter in Atwater, and tonight we're celebrating vintage SoCal, proving it's cool to be old, like me. Our next spot, which is filled with joy, we're revealing LA's oldest toy store, family owned since 1945.
The best kind of toys, for my opinion. We sell nothing that plugs in. It's all interactive. Classic, vintage would be two names that I would assign to anything in here. Hi, I'm Don Kipper. Welcome to Kip's Toyland, LA's oldest toy store. We are in the original farmer's market at the corner of 3rd and Fairfax. Kipper, that's our last name. Kip's was originally opened October 1st, 1945 by my dad when he was discharged from the Army. He was a prisoner of war and a pilot and wanted to do something fun with the rest of his life. So he went into the toy business. Lincoln Logs, these were popular when I was little. That's a while ago. I actually Started working here when I was about 9, and unfortunately found my way to do other things because I thought that I don't want to work here. Only to discover when my dad was 95, and I thought, you know, it's time for him to kind of enjoy a little bit of quiet time. So I came in full time and kind of took the baton from him. Right now, Lily, my daughter, is our buyer and general manager of the store. Ant farm. Everybody had an ant farm. Rock'em sock'em robots. Over the last couple of years, people are looking for things that are nostalgic, that are grounded, that, you know, that are real to them. Some of them changed, and some of them have been popular since Slinky, for example. Slinky was invented in 1945, same year we opened. We still sell them all day long, and people love them. And of course, there are the new things. There's Barbie is constantly coming out with something new. Coco Melon is a very popular thing. Legos. What keeps us going is little kids and their eyes. A lot of kids don't know about a toy store. They go to a big box store and there's an aisle of this kind of toy. It's a special place, certainly to our family, and we hear all day long from customers how they enjoy it. And there are customers that have come in here and say, you know, my grandparents brought me here and this is my granddaughter. So we span all kinds of different eras in a family, and that's very gratifying. I'm enjoying it very much, and hopefully we'll have another 77 years here.
If you walk into the Outer Limits Tattoo Parlor in Long Beach, California, be prepared to meet a true legend. Her name is Carrie Barber, and she doesn't run the oldest operating tattoo parlor in SoCal. It's the oldest in the entire country. Who knew?
Okay, right there, hold it a little still. My name is Carrie Barba, and I'm the owner of Outer Limits Tattoo here in Long Beach, California, the oldest tattoo shop in the nation, second oldest in the world. I've been tattooing for 43 years. Some of our collection here at Outer Limits, and we have lots of tattoo machines and memorabilia. Most of these machines were either made by or used by artists who worked in the Pike area or this particular shop here. It's been running all through both wars, and we're very proud of our location. All the tattoo shops you used to see had every inch, as much as they could cover, filled in tattoo flash. And it was called flash because when you'd walk in, it was like, bam, flash. So this is what our studio looked like in 1970s. So there used to be a port here in Long Beach, a naval port, and the military guys would all come into port, you know, and had visited other countries. And so the tattoo artists started catching on here, and they opened tattoo stops here in the port city of Long Beach. We pulled down a wall, found this safe right behind the wall. Still have not opened this safe, and we plan to do that to see what's inside on the 100-year anniversary of the shop. So in 27, we're gonna open this thing and see what's in there. Being a female tattoo artist in this industry has been a little difficult. When I started in 1979, I didn't think about it. I didn't think this is a male-dominated industry, but it definitely was. One gentleman, famous, says, "I ain't getting tattooed by no chick." And I said, okay, well then, here's your choices, you know, go ahead and choose. And then he goes, no, but I want this work. I said, well then you gotta have a chick do it. It was that simple. The other thing we found was this cash register stuck on $5. You can see how much tattoos used to cost. We operate a pretty busy studio. We run 13 tattoo artists usually at a time. Every artist is completely unique amongst themselves and their style. Because you get to see all these walks of life, different kinds of people coming in all the time, getting to see what the other person is getting, and the energy is really good. This plaque tells about the history of our shop. This came from the Natural History Museum, LA, and we're really excited to have that on our wall if you want to come in and read it. I am known most for octopus tattoos. I do a lot of octopus tattoos. And then I got to do a silicone arm that was hanging in the Natural History Museum, LA. They did an exhibition called Tattoo. So everybody who went to the museum then called and said, I want an octopus, I want an octopus. So I have been doing octopus probably 2 to 3 times a week for at least 5 years now. I used to get so much flack when I was started out in the business because I didn't have a lot of visible tattoos, but over the time I started getting more and more tattoos, but I kind of waited until my kids had grown up. I have 2 kids and I would, you know, be in school with them, and the problem is people instantly judged me. But you know, over time we can see that everybody wears tattoos, all different walks of life, all types of people wear tattoos. And it doesn't mean you're bad, it just means you're trying to set yourself apart, express yourself.
All right, and that is all the time we have for tonight. I hope you enjoyed our proof that everything old is cool, including me. We'll see you next time. Good night. I'm gonna go find my whiskey. Mwah. Bye.